And we're back with our fifth guest on Get Involved Pittsburgh here today. Speaking of success is our theme. And we have a great next guest to talk about speaking of success, and that's Al Borowski. Thanks for being here, Al.
I'm delighted to be here and honored.
Oh, great. Well, thanks for being here. And I know that you are the professor of positivity. So that idea of being the professor of positivity, though, what does that mean to you? How does that relate to your message?
I started that during one of my business writing programs. I started to notice that a lot of ways that people were changing sentences as I recommended them to do were doing it in a negative tone rather than a positive tone. So I just came up with this idea of making them professors of positivity. I proclaimed myself a professor of positivity and had them raise their right hand and repeat after me and made them professors of positivity. And I gave them a little wallet-sized card professing it and a full-size 11 by 8.5 four-color document to prove
awesome. I'm sure some of them still have it in their wallets probably, that they're positive people. That's good.
Absolutely.
Good. Okay,
Absolutely.
That's great.
And I told them that next time they had their business cards created, make sure you put PP, Professor of Positivity.
Professor of Positivity. So I know PP is one of the initials you go with, MED from your teaching days, but also CSP. And we've had a lot of I would say, pillars of the speaking community on this program today. You are a CSP, which is absolutely the highest accreditation that you can get as a speaker. What is a CSP? A Certified Public Speaker?
Certified Speaking Professional.
Speaking Professional. Very good.
Yes, it's the highest earned designation. You have to have so many clients, make so much money, have so many recommendations from clients. It's quite a bit to get that accreditation, but I was proud to do it.
Great. And you were also the best in the class, I think, by a national management
the Professional Convention Managers Association, at their national convention, they had about 70 presenters, and they selected 6 as best in class, and I was one of the 6, so I was proud of that as well.
That's great. Well, I know that you've been a pillar of the speaking community. My first NSA meeting ever, so I came to the meeting. Philip Van Hooser was our speaker, our national president at that time. He was talking about his book that I believe was #2 on the business charts for Amazon, and then he points to the back of the room and he gives all the credit to you. I remember he pointed out that your involvement with Philip Van Hooser's book, which is a national top seller on Amazon. Tell us a little bit about that project.
Well, our good buddy Jeff Tobe was responsible for that.
Okay, great.
Probably
He's been on the show as well.
Probably about 10 years ago, we were in St. Louis, and I was walking down the hall, and an arm came out and grabbed me by the shoulder and pulled me into a room. And it was Philip Van Hooser and Jeff Tobe. And Jeff pointed at me and said, "He's the guy you want to talk to." And I had no idea what he was talking about. But at the time, Philip was creating a brand new 4-color brochure for his business. And he was looking for help and ideas on how to make it better. And so I said, "Give me a copy of it. I'll have some answers for you tomorrow morning. Pick them up at the desk." And I made 4 recommendations, and he took 3 of those recommendations. Then lo and behold, about 5 years later, he decided he was going to write a book, Your Joe's Boy, Ain't You?
Right.
And so he would fax me a chapter at a time, and I would edit it to make it sound like Philip Van Hooser. Philip Van Hooser is an incredibly intelligent, experienced HR person. His book was Your Joe's Boy, Ain't You? And what it was a book of stories of when he was growing up on a farm in Kentucky.
Right.
And throughout the book, he kept using words like paradigm and conundrum. And I said, "Philip, no, you don't do that. This is a book by a young boy growing up on a farm who never heard these words." And so I edited that book, and then he had another book about his health problems. I edited that one as well. So he's a good friend of mine.
Yeah, no, it's an amazing story, and it's, I think, the idea too that it's just about being in the room, and you never know where a friend, a colleague, the introductions that they can make, and I think Jeff Tobe and you working together on that is a great example of that. When we're not getting pulled into rooms physically to talk to people, email is a big way that we communicate. And
Absolutely.
I know that that's something you focus on. I think your phrase is the next email could cost you dearly.
Yes.
What's that all about? How could the next email cost us dearly?
Well, it could cost you your job. It could cost you a lawsuit. It could cost you a day in court. People are using email for everything now. It started as a quick, short message, and now people are using it for everything. The problem is people do not realize that email does not go away. You may hit delete, but that email still exists in your computer.
Right.
And people are saying things and not really reading what they are sending. And they should read it at least once before they send it, because the tone or the information may not be appropriate. And also, people are sending email using a lot of graphics and underlining and color and things like that, and not everyone is equipped to receive that. So you may send something that looks beautiful on your screen, but when somebody else gets it, it looks horrible.
Right. So keep it simple.
You really have to be careful. Yeah, absolutely.
So reread it after you write it. Keep it simple, not too many graphics. Keep it short. Is that advice that you would give as well? Kind of keep it not too long, or?
Well, it depends on the type of email you're sending.
Okay.
For example, people are sending email for reports, long reports. Rather than mailing them, they're sending via email. Well, if it's going to be a long report, make sure that that long report includes bullets and headings, so that it's a roadmap for the people to know where you're going with that whole message.
Right, that's great. You also, besides kind of teaching people how to effectively communicate through email, you also work with writers, I think, right? You kind of get people set up on how to write, or
Well, it's mostly business writing.
Okay.
Most people have challenges with business writing. The average length of sentences today is anywhere between 24 and 28 sentences, or 28 words. And people just don't want to read long sentences anymore. They don't want to read long paragraphs. And I show them 5 or 6 techniques on how to take a 24-word sentence, make it 18 words that are more powerful, clear, and concise.
Okay, great, and that's excellent advice. I know that you got involved originally with this. Has been a big theme of National Speakers Association today. I want you to get a chance. This could be any organization. It doesn't have to be NSA, but the way that you got involved very quickly, kind of moved up the ranks and have held a lot of different positions, both here in Pittsburgh and on the national level. I think you're a great example of somebody that's got it going on local and then kind of took it to the next level. So I think it's probably the mid to early to mid 90s when you first got involved with NSA.
About 95, 94, 95. Yes.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about your experience. So you joined it, and I think within a year or two you were the president. Is that?
Well, actually, the first meeting I attended was a joint meeting of the Pennsylvania Speakers Association, which is what we were known by then, and ASTD, the Association for Training and Development. And as soon as I walked up to the registration table, I knew I was home. These are people that think and talk and act and behave the way I do. So I joined the local chapter, and I joined the national chapter. 5 months later, the chapter made me the treasurer. Why, I don't know, but they made me the treasurer.
You seem trustworthy, that's why. Trust this man with your money.
The following year, the president asked me to be the president-elect, so I was the treasurer, the president-elect, the president, the past president, and some past presidents are asked to serve as what they call chapter liaisons, are past presidents who have gone through the rigors of being a chapter president, and they help train the new chapter presidents. Well, I became a chapter liaison. 1 year later, the chair and the co-chair of the Chapter Leadership Council asked me if I would become the first vice chair-elect, which means I was two down the road. And they were doing that because the National Speakers Association, that was the model they had. They had someone in waiting 2 years before. So I served as chapter liaison, the vice chair-elect, vice chair, chair, and past chair. So I put in 5 years with the Chapter Leadership Council, helping other chapter presidents and chapters as well.
That's a lot of involvement, a lot of great giving back of your time, and as volunteers not getting paid extra to do these kind of things.
And actually paying my own way to visit chapters.
Absolutely.
So it was... But I enjoyed every minute of it.
And I think that's the message that we try to share with Get Involved too. You're not going to get rich from it. You're going to meet a lot of great people, a lot of great friends that, you never know where those relationships go. And you look about the friendship with Jeff that turned into Philip Van Hooser. You just never know where things are going to go. But I think your story with NSA, both locally and nationally, could apply to a lot of people watching at home, whatever organization it is that they're caring to get involved with, if it's nonprofit boards, if it's local groups, whatever it is that they want to get involved with, they can kind of also climb that ladder the same way that you did with NSA.